to the Crown Lane podcast, Crown Lane on the Record. We're up to episode 19. A very special guest with us today. Very, very honoured to have with us a bit of royalty from the West End, really. Who might it be? We are joined today by Chris Hatt.
Hello.
Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, brilliant to be here, thank you.
And welcome back into the studio as well.
Yeah, it's only been about a month since I was here?
Yeah. So for context, we at the studio met Chris through a really, really amazing project we've done recently. We were just talking about it before we started rolling, with Maria Simpson, an album of hers, a live album that was made in the studio that will be released. I don't want to give a date just in case I get it wrong, but very soon. Can't wait for everyone to hear and listen to it. But that's how we got introduced to Chris. Chris was the producer on that album and the pianist on that album.
Yeah.
And for us, I have to say, it sounds like I'm fibbing just to butter you up the right way, but it was genuinely one of the most stress-free, enjoyable experiences I think we've ever had in the studio.
Well, I feel the same way. It was brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of situation that could be really stressful because you're up against time. Everyone's got deadlines and everyone relies on other people. But no, it was lovely. It was great. And we all felt that way. And we all got to the end of the day just thinking that was just really fun.
Yeah.
That was great, which is what it should be.
It was split into 2 days. That was the play. We didn't overrun. But yeah, I think we're all just then looking forward to when the next one is coming.
It was just brilliant. We wish we could do that every day.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
Well, we love working with we really enjoyed working with you as well, Chris. So thank you very much for coming back to be on the podcast.
Thank you
as
for
well.
having me.
So for those who don't know Chris Hatt, can you give a short CV
about me
of who you are, what you do?
Well, I work as a West End musical director. Also do a bit of writing and performing, but I suppose being a musical director is my main thing in musicals. So that's sort of what I'm sort of mostly known for in the industry.
Yeah. And can you list off a couple that people might know?
Well, I'm currently on the musical Hamilton, playing at the Victoria Palace, and musical director there. Before that, I was at the same theatre, the Victoria Palace, doing Billy Elliot, the musical. And other credits, I did Our House, the Madness musical, did an old 20s musical called Thoroughly Modern Millie. Yes, the mind goes blank, doesn't it? I started off doing...
Well, you've named a couple of tiny ones at the beginning.
Yeah.
So
my first one was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which everyone knows and everyone's done.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my gateway into musical theatre. So that was a great, lovely little training ground.
Yeah.
And that was weekly touring all across the country. So I did that for a couple of years. You can kind of hone your craft and get to know people and get to know how to work with people, and then that's sort of a good training ground for the next thing, and then that follows on to the next thing.
You kind of played it down a little bit there by saying that everyone's done it. I haven't. Done it. I haven't done the musical direction of that.
Oh no, but
Chris behind the camera, have you done that?
You must have done it at school.
Secondary school.
Yeah, there you go. There
so
you
you
go.
have.
Everyone's played second sheet from the left at Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Nice.
There you go. That's right.
All right, pipe down.
Lawrence, you're the only person that's not done it.
Damn it. You know what I did do? My favourite production of all time, Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, amazing.
That was me in secondary school.
I was
on drums.
You know who wrote Little Shop of Horrors, the music? So that's all Alan Menken.
It's
all the Disney guy.
Yeah.
The best tunesmith in the world.
Genuinely, I listened to the entire thing on the way in this morning. I
Little
listened
Shop
to
of
the whole
Horrors.
thing. The film, the Frank Oz film.
Yeah. Steve Martin as the dentist.
As the dentist.
Brilliant.
But I listened to that once a month. I was 14, 15, and I was the drummer in the production at my school. And it was by far, sorry to my band if they're listening, the best band I've ever been in my life. And it's just such an amazing feeling.
It's just great music, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so... A little sidebar there.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is therapy session. It's all coming out. It's all about me. Thank you for tuning in. No, going back to you, where we should be, Chris, which is... I mean, you've touched upon it a bit, but if, like I mentioned to you before we started, we normally have quite a few students who listen to this, young actors who are trying to find their way, trying to find their path. Maybe it might be that they want to go into the music side of musicals rather than the treading the board side of it. Can you tell us a little bit more about your sort of path and maybe different jobs that you did to lead you to where you are?
I mean, like anything, I think in the sort of creative industry, there's no right or wrong path to take. There's no path that will guarantee a job at the end of it, and you need a lot of luck. But there are things you can do to help you give you the best chance, and mainly it's just about playing as much as possible, getting yourself out there, playing for as many shows if that's what you want to do, playing for as many shows as you can, accompanying singers as a pianist. That's a brilliant thing. So my first thing in theatre was pantomime. So I got involved with my local pantomime, and that company, the company that did that pantomime, also is it's called a repertory theatre company. So they'll hire out a theatre for a season and do lots and lots of shows for that season. And I was the musical director for all those shows, having just done their pantomimes. And that meant I was able to get to know a whole group of actors for every single show that they did. So I just got to know everyone, and if you do that, if you do a good job for every little bit of it you do, then at some point someone's going to know someone who's looking for someone. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I know. There's this guy that I work with in Tunbridge Wells on Joseph, and that might be a good fit. So it's just about getting yourself out there, and that's what I did. I did
that industry really does work like that as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely,
that close
and of course,
networking.
when I started out, it was before any sort of social media or kind of LinkedIn or anything like that. So any online marketing of yourself wasn't a thing. So you just had to push yourself out there and market yourself in terms of what you did and doing a good job. And any advice I would have for anyone sort of starting out is just remember that you never know what is going to lead on to the next thing. So you might think the thing you're doing is the smallest and most insignificant thing, but then the person that you meet on it will be the person that gets you up onto that next rung of the ladder, and vice versa. You might think this is my big break, and it might lead to nothing. So you just never know. So the advice would be just be your best. At everything you do. I
often think about it with Formula One, where to be one of the greatest races, you have to start off in a go-kart. And it's
definitely.
It's almost laughable thinking about someone like Lewis Hamilton in a go-kart. But
course.
It's such a serious thing as well.
Course.
And having those early moments and those early productions that you can get involved in, no matter how small they might seem to you.
Absolutely, and also how boring they might seem to be as well. As a pianist, learn your scales, because they might seem really, really dull when you're 11, but then when you're 35 and suddenly having a piece of music that you've got to play, actually having that dexterity in your fingers to be able to play that scale is invaluable. And if you don't have that, it's going to be really hard. So all these things that for my world, your piano teacher nags you to do, is for a good reason. So keep going.
Moving forward then, with you and your career path then, where did we go after the sort of pantomime era?
So pantomime was rep theatre, and like I said, it was like I was just sort of waiting. I mean, not consciously, but I was kind of waiting for the next thing to happen, and the next thing was the director of one of the shows, his partner was the musical director of Joseph. This my sort of first big break, I suppose, who was about to leave. And there was the musical director job wasn't open, but the assistant musical director was going to step up. So then that job was open. So I got an interview and managed to get onto a tour. This big UK tour of Joseph, which was my first job. And then from that, it was the guitarist. In fact, it was a dep guitarist. We have deps on shows. So you have...
For those who don't know what dep means.
I'll explain what deps are. So every musical has a band, but every member of that band doesn't necessarily do all the shows. They do what we call depping it out. So if you've got another gig, you might just bring someone in. So basically a dep is a friend or colleague of one of the regular musicians that comes in. So we had a dep guitarist who happened to know, so I'm going to use all these terms now, happened to know the fixer. And the fixer is basically an orchestral manager, or the guy or lady that organises and contracts the bands for West End shows. This guy Terry is guitarist. I've got a lot to thank, which is why I'm shouting about, saying thanks Terry. Nice. He said, I know the fixer for this show in London that's about to open called Our House, which is based on all the songs of Madness. So I'm going to get you an interview because I think you're quite kind of a good piano player and a nice person, because that's also very important. And so I got an interview, went off to London to this as a TV company actually called Tiger Aspect, who produced this musical Our House. I went there. That went very well. I came in on keys 3. on Our House, sort of worked my way up. It was only open for about a year, that show, but by the time it ended, I was a musical director for that. And that sort of got me into, I suppose you might say, the big league in terms of profile, because it was a big West End show. It won the Olivier Award. And therefore, sort of people started to know who I was. So that when that closed, I sort of had a bit of profile to sort of start going around and kind of marketing myself then, based on my CV rather than just based on, here's my scales. I can do scales, you know. And it's all networking, you know, and it's all networking. It's all just being a good human being as well as a good musician, and probably in that order.
You mentioned that a moment ago. You've come back to it, and I'm glad you did, because something that we've spoken about before when we're talking about musicians trying to network with studios and labels and trying to, you know, build up your reputation, it is such a big part of just don't be a dick, basically.
Absolutely,
because you can be
number one rule.
You can be an absolutely incredible player, really, really gifted, of which there are a lot, especially when we're talking about in London. There's definitely a big pool of very, very talented people. But when you were mentioning before about networking, getting to know people in different productions, different shows, if you can be pleasant and be liked by people and be likable, people will so badly want to work with you. You'll be the first one they think, oh, let's get Chris along, because not only was he really good, but it's easy to get on with him.
Well, when we opened this by talking about this studio and sessions in the studio being something that could be really quite stressful. And it's important that you're the kind of person to diffuse that stress. Musicals are very stressful. You know, they're very stressful things to put up because there's a lot of money in them. You've got a lot of investors waiting to get their return. And there's a lot of people and there's a lot of egos in musicals, and everyone sort of, you know, everyone wants their department to be top priority, obviously. And you know, and I'm the same. You know, I will insist on the music being a very, very important part of a musical, which sounds stupid, but it is only one part of a musical, the music. But at the same time, you've got to respect that other people feel the same way, and you can't trample on anyone. You've just got to work alongside everyone to make sure that your department is up there with everyone else, rather than up there on top of everyone else. You know, again, it sort of sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised, or maybe not surprised, how many people don't seem to understand that. And they're the first people that I wouldn't go back to work with, because it's just not fun, you know. Because also I play the piano for a living. I play show tunes for a living. It's great. I'm very, very lucky, and I have a lot of fun doing it. And I want to have fun and do my job with other people that are similarly like-minded, rather than people that just make life hard work. So don't be a dick. Yes, I could have just put that in one little sentence.
Sounds it's so important.
Totally.
Yeah, people want to.
Don't be a dick. Learn your scales. There we go. Thank you very much. Good night.
Make sure you don't get those mixed up either. On the topic of couldn't help myself there. On the topic of stressful situations in recordings, we just had some drilling coming from next door. Apologise to anybody listening. We've got a nice Mediterranean buffet restaurant being built, so I'm not too upset about
it's all good.
We're going to try and get some free lunches out of that. We'll have to have you back for lunch at one point.
Definitely. It's only fair.
Right, moving on. I'd like to talk to you about just the West End at the moment. And when I say at the moment, I mean within the last couple of years and how it is now, because from all reports that I've read and from actually going out to shows at the moment, it seems like the West End is in such a real healthy place when we're talking about attendance, interest in shows, people who've never been to shows who are starting to go to them more often at the moment, where we came from a place in 2020, 2021.
Not that long ago.
Where it was really not looking great. And actually in New York, in Broadway, they've really suffered post-COVID.
Definitely.
But in London, I can very proudly say that it seems to be doing better than it's ever done.
It's thriving now, and thank goodness. And it was a genuine worry. I mean, you know, COVID hit, and obviously all the shows shut. And you know, I won't go into it, but you know, furloughed, and everything happened as it did with everyone. And there was a worry. There was a genuine worry that the industry would never be the same again. Partly because investors, I think probably mostly just because investors would just walk away and go, you know what, it's just not a viable business opportunity anymore, because actually going out and sitting very close to a lot of other people just seemed back in 2021, it just seemed like a world away from what we could ever do again.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
because it is weird because things still feel different. Whenever I shake hands with a stranger, I always think, "Oh, should I do this?" And I never felt like that before. Yeah. And we just.
I was wondering why you didn't shake hands with me when you came in.
I just took a cuddle. But that's fine. There are still things that are weird, and rewind 4 or 5 years. I was worried that 2025 would be very, very different to what was happening in 2018. And luckily, it doesn't seem to be the case. It has taken a while. And sadly, there are a lot of productions and production companies that have fallen by the wayside because they just haven't had the funds to keep going through the drought, I suppose. Thankfully, people do want to go out, and I think maybe as a good positive result of being stuck indoors for so long, actually people still really enjoy actually going out and experiencing art with other people, being a communal thing. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a real huge uptake in people wanting, and possibly it is a side effect of that, the lockdown situation that we all had. But where television is dropped, live television, I'm talking about, not Netflix or anything, but live TV. Old-fashioned television is on the decline. Cinema is on the decline, but things like the live experience version of something, or theatre, or going to gigs, just
there's a visceral reaction to seeing people do the thing in front of you.
Do you get that feeling because this is your bread and butter? You're there. You're in the West End. Do you just as a general feeling when you're seeing people coming into the theatres?
Oh, very much. Yeah. I've never lost that excitement of the fact that people are seeing, and I always sort of marvel at the idea that what we do in the show. Say we do the show tonight, but the show we do tonight is a one-off. It's like it's Hamilton, which we did last night, and we'll do tomorrow. But the version that we do tonight is going to be, and it might be just slight little changes, but it's a one-off. It's a live thing that only will be experienced by me, the band, everyone backstage, and the audience. And then tomorrow will be a different thing. And I think that's something that is easily forgotten when you're doing it 8 times a week, but it's something I always try and latch onto, the fact that we are providing a live experience, and a live experience ends at 10:30, and that will never happen again. I think that's really important to keep hold of.
Yeah, amazing. Right, we're going to take a very, very quick break, and we'll be back when we'll be talking more about the West End, and we'll be giving you the Crown Lane questionnaire.
Can't wait.
See you in a minute.
Whether you're looking for online sound technology courses, premium live studio recordings, podcasts, rehearsing, group and individual workshops, or support with a music project, Crown Lane Studio is the home for you. With fully equipped rooms and an on-site coffee shop and wine bar only 2 minutes from Morden Tube Station, you'll know you've found the home for your next project. Crown Lane. Sound better.
Well, welcome back. Still joined here with Chris Hatt, talking about the West End, all things to do with being a musical director. I did want to ask about carrying on with the current state of the West End. Have you noticed, I think you might have, a certain rise in musicals being based on intellectual property, so IP, if you don't know what that means, about a brand that's been built up over a very long time, something that's familiar to most people, then being shoehorned into a musical. What are your feelings about it? Is it not as many as I think it is? Or?
No, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I think it's not a problem. I think if it was dumbed down theatre, I think it's a problem. Actually, one of my first West End job was Our House, and it was obviously all based on the music of Madness. So you had that hook, and you had that selling point as well. And we even had Suggs in for a few weeks doing one of the parts.
Amazing.
That's another story. But that musical was done so well, and it was sort of, I think the writers looked at the songs and thought, well, what do all these songs have in common? And built the musical around that. And in terms of Madness, it was about opposites. So like songs like Sun and the Rain and there's a few others that I can't even think about now. But so many of the songs look at two sides of the same thing and compare the two. So when they were writing the musical, they thought, well, let's take that as the basis of this, and let's make a story about. You've seen Sliding Doors? Movie. Yeah. So similar to that, where there's a point in your life where you make a decision, and the musical looks at both paths.
Wow.
And there's a light path and a dark path. The light path is obviously what you think of would be the good decision, and the dark path is the bad decision. And the bad decision takes the main character through this. But basically, it forces him to become very successful and have on the surface a happy life, and you think, wow, this is all going wrong because the good path went all wrong and the bad path goes all right, and then of course the end you're going to find out that actually the good one was the right one all along, and it's very similar to that Sliding Doors idea.
It's a lot deeper than I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
For
I didn't mean to tell you the whole.
No, it's good.
The
Sliding
whole plot.
Doors on stage with Madness music.
But my point is, it wasn't about let's make a musical and let's make the madness as the thing. So you come and hear Madness songs, and you use the word shoehorn, which is absolutely perfect for musicals that don't do it right. You're going to shoehorn something in, or more effectively, shoehorn a story around songs.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm not going to badmouth any musicals, but there are musicals that do that.
Yeah, of course.
And you can see the next song coming a mile off. It's like, oh, okay, because the plot's taking us there. Someone's going to say, there we go. Someone said that. That's going to lead onto a song. Sounds like a cue for a number, and sure enough, there it is. And it's just a way to in certain jukebox musicals, just a way to have a concert without having to pay the actual people to come and do it, and have a story to make it look like a musical.
Sometimes that can still be quite a fun thing, though. What was the Beatles one that it was in the West?
Oh, there was a Beatles one, All You Need Is Love.
I think it might have been that. And I'm a huge...
Which I never saw, so I couldn't comment on that.
And it was just a gig with every now and again they'd show like a screen like 1967, and then they went back and it was just a gig. Yeah. But it was quite fun. Yeah, I really did enjoy it.
Absolutely. What I really like is like they did with Our House, actually sort of really create what feels like an original musical, and that's the thing. It's like if you're using pre-existing songs, if you get to the end of the show and you kind of feel like you've watched a show where those songs were written for it, then it's done what it set out to do. Whereas if you feel like you've just seen a concert with a dreadful story around it just to link the songs together, then for me that's not really what you should be doing. But obviously intellectual property also covers books and it covers movies. There's a brilliant Back to the Future musical happening in London and it's been there for a few years. That is absolutely fantastic, really, really good. And again, they've really thought about it, and they've used all the original creative team who did the movie.
Oh, really?
They did so Alan Silvestri has come back and did all the songs.
Oh, amazing.
And used some of his score, which is brilliant for me because it's one of my favourite movies and movie scores of all time. So a lot of it is done really well. And I think when the intellectual property musicals came out, maybe there were a few ones that weren't as good because it was seen as a bit of a cheap, quick way to make a buck. But I suppose the good thing about there being so many out there is that it's now created an art form of its own. Yeah. And they're all now in competition with each other to be a really good one. So they're now and because it represents such a big part of the industry, it does attract really, really good people. There's
a couple of things like that, isn't there? Where there's so many, then the opportunities are huge for then actors or musicians to get in, but also it kind of feeds back into what we were saying before the break about, why are we in this new age of, attendance being so high? Maybe it is because we've got thousands of people now who would have never normally have gone to a show or musical, and they think, actually, I absolutely love. Yeah,
and if that gets bums on seats, then it's all good with me. It is all good. And theatre's expensive. And especially if you're bringing your kids along, a family of four seeing a musical and a dinner and travel hundreds and hundreds of pounds, you're going to want to know what you're going to get. And if you go and see something completely original and you have no idea what the music is, what the story is, what the theme is, it's quite a risk, you know. And there are some amazing ones, obviously, and I'd like to think that most of them you'd go away thinking, "Wow, yeah, that was worth it."
Yeah.
But it is a big punt to go out and spend all that money on something that you have no preconception idea. Or you know, if I take my kids to see Back to the Future, I was like, well, I know the film is really good. I know the people that did the film are doing this. It's going to be amazing. So I can totally understand why it's a thing. But for me, as long as it's a thing that's done well, then, you know, good on them. It's getting people into the theatres, getting people out of their houses, watching live performers, live music, and that for me is a big tick. So
I've got to say, you just reminded me of something which I've forgotten about, which is when you were in here recording Marilia's album. And there was a little bit of a break, and we brought up something. Someone said something about Back to the Future, and then you were sat at the piano and you went da 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 da. And my joy, because it's one of my favourites of all time as well. And
it just switches on something.
Chris and I were just
proper nostalgia, isn't it?
Chris Cruz was there. We were like, he's playing the thing.
It's the thing. Yeah,
it's so brilliant.
40 years. I mean, I took my kids to see it the other week because it's 40 years since that movie came out, and that music is just brilliant.
What did you do?
Saw it at the IMAX for my birthday.
Oh, wow, the other week. Oh, my God, an IMAX. That must have been amazing.
The screen was waiting, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
You need it to be.
Yeah. Oh, great stuff.
Anyway, you can come back and we can talk all about.
Yeah, definitely. That's
a whole episode.
Podcast. Movie nerds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Right, okay, well, I know that we have limited time because I think you're busy today doing something like Hamilton or something.
Something like that.
There's
something Hamilton related.
So
happening.
I know that we've only got you for very limited time. So what I'd like to do is we're gonna do our little finale.
Brilliant.
We're gonna do the Crown Lane questionnaire.
All right. Should I be nervous?
Get to know you better.
Okay.
The rule is.
Okay.
The rule is
yes.
Quick. None of this like.
Fire?
Oh, maybe none of that
no.
rubbish. All right. You got to go.
No
for
editing.
It.
No
editing.
No. No post prod.
Chris Hatt, are you ready?
Oh gosh, all right then.
Question number one.
Yeah.
Which is your favourite format of music to listen to? By that I mean tape, CD, streaming, vinyl, whatever.
CDs.
CDs.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I think you might be the first person.
First one.
Oh,
first
really?
one. Yeah, that's
really?
great.
Oh, physical media, absolutely love it. It's great.
Great. Question two: do you prefer to be playing in the studio recording, or do you prefer to be playing on stage?
On stage.
Of course. Who am I talking to? Yeah.
But I don't do it that often because in musicals you're in a pit. And I've got my back to the audience.
Yeah.
And so I do quite a lot of cabaret nights where I'm playing a grand piano on stage, and I love it because actually I can see people. It's like, oh, it's nice. Nice. I've got an audience. Yeah, that's great.
Question three: what's the best gig that you've ever been to?
Straight away, Stevie Wonder last year at Hyde Park.
Oh, nice.
Was absolutely incredible. I went to see my all-time hero of all time is John Williams, the film composer.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah.
And I went to see him conduct his music in Milan in 2022, and he's getting very old. He's 93 now, and me and my wife went and we booked tickets, and because I kind of thought he's not going to be doing this for very long, and that was the last concert that he has done the whole thing of. He's been like a guest conductor of his own music sometimes, but that was the last one that he's done the entire program, and I was there, and that was actually I'll say that was Stevie.
That's a pretty good answer.
Yeah, John Williams in Milan.
Did he do Jewel of the Fates from the?
No, because there was no choir. There was no choir. Oh, right. But he did enough for Star Wars to make me very happy.
Yeah. But Jewel of the Fates, that's got to be one of the greatest.
Brilliant. Yeah. Just brilliant.
Anyway, quick fire, Lawrence. What am I doing?
Quick fire, Lawrence. Come on.
This is a strange question.
Oh, gosh, right.
What's the best gig that you haven't been to? So a gig in history you think, I wish I could have been at
Michael Jackson. Because we had tickets.
This is it?
This is it. Yeah.
As did I.
Yeah. Yeah, did you?
Yeah, I had tickets.
Absolutely gutted.
That wasn't it.
Yeah, I had tickets. And we had tickets to the fifth performance, I think, because it was 40, wasn't it? He was booked for 40, and we were really early on. We had our tickets. Of course, he died. And do you remember we had an email saying you can either get a refund,
keep the ticket,
or you can keep the ticket? It's like,
which decision did you make?
Well, I took the money. You didn't get the ticket.
Oh,
you did.
I know.
You sucker.
Such a scam. It's such a scam.
Was it like a hologram ticket or something? They said, or they called it a lenticular ticket.
Yeah,
and I thought,
know. Yeah.
This is the 80s child in me was like, ooh, a lenticular ticket. That would be nice. But no, I thought my wife was like, take the money.
I know, because it wasn't cheap either.
No, it wasn't.
I've told people about this before. I said, I had tickets to This Is It, and they emailed afterwards and said, here's your choice, money or ticket.
Yeah.
And people just don't believe me. I'm like, no, it happened. I'm so glad you said it, because I'm starting to question myself whether
take the money back or
Yeah,
have the
it's
ticket.
weird.
And I also remember
Well, it's not weird.
the promoter saying, because everyone was like, well, what? Because we're 40 times, what is it, 20,000 people wanting their money back. And the promoter said, this isn't a time to be thinking about money. This is a time to be grieving. And everyone, the whole country says, but that's your job. That's the one thing you've got to do.
Yeah.
Give us our money back.
And then someone's like, I know how we can do it. I'll tell you what.
It's a time to grieve. It's like, oh, don't give me that. Seriously.
Yeah. Okay, good answer.
Yeah.
Question 5, what's your favourite instrument to listen to? And I mean, in the same room, you in here, someone's playing an instrument. What's the best one to listen to?
Well, I'm biased towards the piano, obviously, because that's my thing. But can I say the voice? Can I say a singing voice? Because I think singing is just the most brilliant thing to listen to and to watch. And if you're talking about being somewhere in the room, me and my wife go to Ronnie Scott's jazz club a lot, and I think we tend to favour the vocalists because it's so much more of a sort of theatrical performance to actually just watch someone singing, even if they're just standing there. They emote so much just from the way they look and the way they present themselves and the way they perform. So I find it really fascinating. So I've got 2 answers: piano and voice.
Right, great. Next one, your least favourite instrument to listen to in the same room?
For me, it's saxophone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I've got so many saxophone mates. If they listen to this, I'm really sorry. You're good. It's all the other ones.
Yeah, sure. I don't think anyone said that before, Chris. No, definitely not.
It's just...
We've had a lot of banjos. We've had a lot of bagpipes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a thing I've got about brass instruments. Oh, no, this is terrible. How much to say?
You might want to save yourself here, Chris. Maybe not.
Yeah, no. All I say is my brother, Andrew... used to play trumpet. He still does, but he used to learn the trumpet when we were kids. And brass instruments always have a bit of a smell.
Because there's a certain...
Andrew. But and it's nothing to do with the person.
Sewer, basically.
It's nothing to do with the person blowing the thing.
Yeah.
It's about the air, once it's been all around those pipes and comes out the other end, there's a brassy, musty smell.
Yeah.
And I associate that with every single brass instrument. And I've done so many shows with brass instruments, and for some reason it's the saxophone as well. I just think the air that's coming out that big bell, steady.
Yeah.
I know what you want to say. The air that comes out, I just know smells like the upstairs of my house when I was 10, and going, oh, Andrew's playing the trumpet again.
I can smell the sax.
You know what? It's a musty brass smell.
Sure.
So maybe that's not what you expected me the answer to be. But
It definitely wasn't.
But you wanted quick fire, and that's the first thing that popped into my head.
Yeah. Cool. Number 7, 7 out of 8. What's the best album to give to somebody as a gift? Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday. They open it up. What would you gift as an album? What's the best one?
Well, top of my head, E.T. by John Williams.
Okay.
Because I just think as an album, it's just so perfectly put together and just brilliant music. But I mean, I'll go. There's like 100 different answers. Do you mean someone that's like never heard music? Are you
or just like
or Desert Island Discs, or Alien comes down and this is what music is. Yeah, I'm going to go E.T. because it's an alien, isn't it?
Because of I've already heard that.
Yeah. I've got this one.
That was me.
That was pretty good. Well done. Yeah.
Okay, last question. Very good. The real cheesy one now.
Okay.
Sum up what music means to you in one sentence.
Oh my goodness. It's the sound of this. It's the sound of life. It's the sound of existence. It's the sound of everything that we do. It's the sound of the cogs that make life work.
I like that.
Yeah, because like everything for me is underscored, whether it's happening in the room or it's happening in my head. I hear music everywhere, and even like with birdsong, with the drilling, there's a note on that. You know, and that's an underscore in itself. Quite an annoying one, but it's an underscore. So it's the soundtrack of your life. There you go.
Love it. Absolutely love that. Very nice. End of questionnaire.
Oh, phew. Oh, okay. That wasn't. Sorry, Andrew.
It went to quite a few different. Went to quite a few places we didn't expect it to go. From out there, the greater beyond.
Yeah.
And your attic. You're the upstairs of your house.
Just
as
the
a
upstairs
10-year-old?
of the house.
Yeah, nice.
My brother in the next room.
Yeah, great.
Making a weird smell on the trumpet.
Yeah. Right. The final thing. Any recommendations? This isn't the questionnaire. This is just in general. We always talk about the recommendations that you might have for anyone listening in. Any shows or anything that you can think of?
I mean, shows. Come and see our show. Obviously, yeah. Keep me in a job. My recommendation at the moment is going to be a jazz pianist from Chicago called Greg Spiro, who I've just recently got into. He came to Ronnie Scott's last year, and I went to see him again the other week. He plays for an American singer called Halsey. He is her pianist, but he's this monstrous jazz pianist, and he has a band called Spirit Fingers. And there's an album which is entitled Spirit Fingers, which I implore anyone, any musician, especially a musician who likes like interesting time signatures and interesting harmonies, seek this album out because it's incredible. He does things with jazz that I've never heard before. He does things with time signatures that I've heard a lot of people try and do, and a lot of people do it very successfully, but he's like one of the only people that sort of keeps it as music. A lot of people do very clever things in jazz, and it ends up just being clever, and it's like, yeah, but it's not entertaining. It's not emotive. It's just very, very clever and yes, well done. You're very, very good. But Greg Spiro does it, and it still feels like music, and I think that's a real gift. Yeah. So yeah, Greg Spiro, Spirit Fingers. Check him out.
Amazing, lovely. And my recommendation will be Maria Simpson's new album.
Should have said that. Okay, rewind.
No, because we're both saying it together, aren't we? We're both saying it together. Which, what we could try and say at the same time is the name of the album.
Oh yeah, it's called
Bomb-Proof.
I can't remember the next bit.
It's gone through a few different iterations.
Yeah,
it's a nice long title.
Because I thought of Bomb-Proof.
You did.
So that's
I was in
my
the
head.
room when you came up with it. Yeah.
That was off the cuff. No, I'm not.
Unshaken.
I'm unshaken.
Unshakable.
Unshaken Grace. Unshaken. Oh, we're going to get it wrong.
It's amazing.
I'm so sorry.
Anyway,
Unshaken. Bomb-Proof. Unshaken Grace.
No, we'll leave it in nice awkwardness. I like it.
Yeah.
Bomb-Proof, Unshaken Grace.
That sounds right. But it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
No, I literally
and she
can't wait.
is an inspiration.
Yeah, and we'll be plastering all that all over online. Yeah, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
But yeah, anyway, that will be it. Chris, thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me.
You're going to have to come back. You're going to have to be the first guest to come back on the podcast. I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, a return visit,
and we can talk about Back to the Future.
Yeah, just nerd out on movies for a whole day.
But otherwise, thank you very much for listening, everybody. Our next one will be the dreaded Christmas wrap-up. Unwrap episode that we're going to be. Chris like that one. And then we'll be doing a metronome with a couple of drinks. So good luck. We'll see you there. But otherwise, thank you very much, Chris, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Enjoy the show this evening.
Yeah, will do. Thank you for having me. Really enjoyed it.
Take care. Goodbye.
Goodbye.